Hey, everybody. I want to explain about perceptions and selling perceptions and being very aware of how things are perceived and even how your reactions to things, how they can be perceived, and why it's very important to understand how strong perceptions are. When you're able to sell a huge population into thinking that antibodies are healing, when you're able to sell a huge population the fact that these charities and organizations are doing good and not for evil, you realize how much a perception has such an impact and influence on a huge population. And it can go from the millions and the billions of people all the way down to just your Facebook audience. So when I point out different emojis that people are reacting to some of my information, and I'm like, hey, what's up with this laughing or this angry face? The thing is that every single reaction is a type of perception that does influence. It influences the algorithms and it influences everybody's perception, everybody's reaction to your information. And so this is why it's very important to defend your reputation, to defend the perception of who you are. It's why it's very important to care in a lot of ways of what people think. Now, you don't have to go and fight every single individual battle separately with each person that has this thought of you, but you recognize what the arguments are out there, and then you devise a type of, I don't know, statement that will alleviate any kind of confusion or miscommunication. So that way, the perceptions that you want out there are going to be correct to what you're trying to portray. Okay? Because yeah, I've had people mess up the perception of Jilly Juice, whether it's on Dr. Phil, BuzzFeed, Newsweek, Daily Mail, Pathos. And if you're not actively chasing after to make sure that the perceptions that you're trying to put out there are correct, then someone's going to have an influence on you, on how people view you. So if anything, you must defend, and you must, I don't say defend all the time, but you must always correct the perceptions and be very diligent on making sure that the wrong perception isn't being applied. So that's why I moderate my own business page by deleting all the nasty comments, because I don't want the perception of Jilly Juice to be that it's a major troll stronghold. No, they have their own pages, they have their own audience, they have their own perceptions that I will not get in the way of. But when it comes to my information, when it comes to my page, my group, anything that I feel that I have some kind of ownership to, I'm going to make sure the perception, the right perception that I want to be put out there is portrayed correctly. And that you guys understand that I don't entertain people who are selling you the wrong perception of Jilly Juice, okay? Or anything else, okay? But yeah, perception is huge, and perception makes so much money. And so that's what Henry Kissinger, biotech, even the individuals within biotech, they sell you a perception that something is healthy, something is saving your life, something is this. And yes, maybe that buys you a few days, a roll of the dice, a few years. There's already algorithms in place to figure out whether or not you'll be able to handle that type of life force being taken away. And so when somebody is willing to take 20% of their life, and take off 20% of their life so they don't feel that they're going to fall into the perception that they're going to die, then they think it's something good. And that's where perception can be very technical. It can be very deceptive, yes, and manipulative. Okay? And so when you're doing the Jilly Juice, you're going to see all the different perceptions that are out there. And all of those perceptions that make you think that something that's actually really bad for you is good, you're going to see it for what it is. And you're going to recognize, and then you'll be able to see it in the population and point it out and be able to articulate your position without getting confused with so much other information out there, where you're able to kind of narrow and really direct your focus on something specific and be able to articulate that, yeah, antibodies are not a good thing. promoting antibodies as if it's a healing thing is basically the antithesis of what you're thinking. You're like, oh yeah, antibodies saved my life. No, the fact that people have cancer, disease, and chronic illness is the body trying to evolve because they have all these antibodies being attacking them at the micro level. And so the body's evolving, trying to evolve and desperately trying to live. And so why you have cancer, disease, and chronic illness, or why you have reactions from these vaccines or reactions from your prescription drugs is the body's under attack and it's trying to live. But when the system is attacking you at the micro level and calling it a healing or a saving your life type of vaccine or saving your life type of prescription drug, and then you have a side effect, then they'll bring in something else to then suppress that pain, and then you think that's healing. You think that's a good thing. And so now you've sold someone on the perception that when you suppress evolution, when you suppress your body trying to evolve, then that's a good thing. And that's when death becomes accepted. That's when the death trajectory becomes accepted in all facets of society. And that's why people have a hard time with my information, because they've been sold for such a long time that death is okay, that, not feeling any kind of pain is okay, and that being addicted to prescription drugs and vaccines and all these different anesthetizing types of protocols is a great thing, and when it really actually is destroying you. And then when you look at back in World War II, when they had those concentration camps, and you look at people who have done chemotherapy and cannabis, and they are like emaciated. They weigh like nothing. They are so skinny. There's like no fat to them, no meat to them, really no hair to them. They have to wear wigs. You're like, what the hell is going on? How can this chemotherapy, this cannabis, this whatever protocol that's being applied to someone who is in major evolution stage, how can that actually be healing? But no, it is. And people are paying good money for it, because they will give money to and pay anything to stop the pain, to stop the evolution, because they've been told that pain is bad. And people will even kill for all the cures or all the suppression of evolution. That's how dangerous selling perceptions are. When facts aren't being considered, when definitions aren't being considered, when science can really snow you into different perceptions. Because, yeah, you can have science, and then you can actually spin science to create a false perception, or create a perception that something like antibodies is a good thing. Oh, no, it's not. It's not. But that's how it's being sold on CNN, Fox, biotech, everywhere. It took me a minute to figure it out, but I finally figured it out. Drink the Jilly Juice. All of the deception is going to fall away, and you're going to see what is actually, you're going to be breaking the spell that is right now over humanity. You'll be breaking the spell, but you have to stay on Jilly Juice. You have to. You must. All right, good luck.